Alright y'all, now that I'm checked into my hotel gearing up for New York Comic Con tomorrow, here are the remaining top 5 best Power Ranger seasons of all time. But we're gonna skip number 5 because I couldn't think of a season that was better than In Space, but worse than my number 4 pick. So for the sake of this video, we're gonna move all the seasons I ranked in part 1 up a notch. Sorry for the confusion y'all, but let's move on to number 4, Dino Thunder. Now there are very few things about this season that I don't like. It had a very likable, well-rounded cast, each with their own skills that they brought to the table. I saw the return of fan favorite Tommy Oliver suiting up as a Black Ranger. R.I.P. I know this gonna be a hot take, but I really do think the Evil White Ranger arc is just Green with Evil done 10 times better. Yeah, I said it. And having the main antagonist of the show secretly being Trent's father set such an unprecedented layer of drama and intrigue to the Power Rangers mythos. Give the season a sense of personal stakes that you're not really used to seeing. My only real gripe with this season is... Am I the only one who thinks Super Dino Mode just looks goofy as hell, like even by Power Ranger standards? The spikes just come off as so try-hard. They look like a drawing a kindergartner would make. But other than that, very solid season. Number 3, Power Rangers Jungle Fury. Ignore the costume change. I always felt that this was the definitive season of Power Rangers for my generation. While other Ranger teams had cool swords or blasters or axes, this Ranger team had the hands. Out here Millie rocking on Daishi's whole crew, and I lived for that shit. The fight choreography in the season was top tier. Also, I think it's pretty much unanimous at this point that Casey the Red Ranger had one of the most rewarding power crawls in Power Rangers history. In a weird way, he reminds me a lot of Po from Kung Fu Panda, who grew from being a complete rookie novice to the strong, confident leader of the pack. Also, this is the season that gave us RJ, who is the undisputed GOAT. Now, number 2, Power Rangers SPD. I kid you not, y'all, this was the season of Power Rangers that completely changed my perception of the entire franchise. Cause when I was like 11 to 13, I went through this I'm too cool for Power Rangers phase. Cause I thought it was just kid stuff. When I watched the first episode of Power Rangers SPD and I saw just how different it was from all the other previous Power Ranger seasons I saw, how they were meticulously setting up the characters and their arcs, off the jump, I was hooked. Jack the Red Ranger was simply him, bro, and he secured that title effortlessly. I loved how him being chosen to lead the team over Sky forced Sky to reevaluate his preconceived notions of what being a Ranger is supposed to be. It forced him to grow as a character throughout the season until eventually he became ready to take up that role. I love Bridges' eccentric brand of genius. He reminds me a lot of Sokka from Avatar, the way his unconventional way of thinking allows him to contribute to the group. And don't even get me started on the Shadow Ranger, bro. I'ma just say it. Daki Kruger is the best mentor in all of Power Rangers. Oh, he teaches his Rangers hard lessons and refuses to fight their battles for him, but when his squad needs him, he's always there. I don't know why, but he always gave me the same energy as Raymond Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I do wish the Omega Ranger was able to get more development because we never got to see him outside of his costume until the end, but this season was nothing short of top tier. Even if you're new to the franchise and you're looking for a way to start, cannot recommend SPD enough. Which brings us to number 1, Power Rangers RPM. I've heard a lot of people refer to the season as the Dark Knight Returns of Power Rangers. And the more I think about it, the more accurate that title feels. This was easily the most ambitious plotline the Power Rangers franchise has ever done. Setting it in a dystopian future where the villain already won? At the time the season came out, that shit was unheard of. Not only is the season of Power Rangers a masterclass of character development, dynamic storytelling, and high-stakes drama, the cinematography and stylistic choices they made with this season are just mwah. There are scenes and frames in this season of Power Rangers that makes it feel like it was shot for AMC. I almost want to make a separate video talking about all the things that are great about this season, but I think I'm gonna leave it here for now. So to recap, number 9 is Dino Charge, number 8 is Mystic Force, Lost Galaxy is number 7, Time Force is number 6, In Space is number 5, Dino Thunder is number 4, Jungle Fury is number 3, SPD is number 2, and coming in at number 1 is Power Rangers RPM. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with my list? What are your top 10 favorite seasons of Power Rangers? Let me know in the comments below. If you fly like me, give me a follow, and I will see you guys at New York Comic Con. So we finished talking about the best of the Power Rangers franchise, but now it's time to talk about the absolute worst. The stinkers, the turd sandwiches, if you will. The shit stains on the Power Rangers legacy and children's entertainment as a whole. So here are the top 5 absolute worst seasons of Power Rangers of all time. Number 5, Ninja Steel. Now while this season wasn't nearly bad enough to earn itself the number 1 spot, it's definitely the most forgettable season of Power Rangers I've ever seen. Forgettable characters, forgettable plot, forgettable villains. There's absolutely nothing about this season that's even the slightest bit noteworthy. Like I literally tried on 3 separate occasions to watch this season, and I can't think of one standout moment that actually made the season worth watching. Even the Dimensions in Danger 25th anniversary crossover just felt super rushed and lazy. Now don't get me wrong, I get it's a kid's show, I know what I'm getting into when I turn on an episode of Power Rangers, and acting has never been one of the franchise's strongest suits. But even by Power Ranger standards, the acting here just feels super cheesy and phoned in. I also hate this trend that the Neo Saban seasons have of shoehorning in useless comedic side characters into the plot, either to pad the runtime or because they think kids are too stupid to pay attention for this show where teenagers fight giant monsters and robots. Overall, a super lame, super generic season that, as Jeremy Jahns would say, you wouldn't remember in T-1 day. Number 4, Power Rangers Turbo. What even was this season? This season's one claim to fame, if you can call it that, is the fact that it's the only Power Rangers season that started with the movie, which was pretty much just an hour-and-a-half snooze fest with like 1 or 2 mildly entertaining scenes. And watching it, you definitely get the feeling the writers were dumbing the series down to appeal to an even younger demographic of kids. Right down to the fact that they introduced an 8-year-old audience surrogate as a new Blue Ranger. And they never even bothered to explain why the Rangers even needed to upgrade their powers from Zeo to Turbo. There's nothing wrong with the Zeo powers. It's not like they were obsolete in any way. They just changed their entire look and theme for seemingly no reason. Something it has in common with other entries on this list. The series does improve a little bit after Tommy and the rest of the Zeo Rangers leave and are replaced by new characters. As you could tell from the dwindling effort they were putting into their line deliveries that a lot of them didn't really want to be there. And while TJ, Ashley, Carlos, and Cassie were introduced really well, they weren't enough to save the bad writing of this season. But there are 2 redeeming qualities Turbo has. 1, having a villain who wears this outfit. And 2, they gave us the funniest scene in Power Rangers history that never fails to make me laugh. Just watch.
Maybe we're not trying hard enough.
Number 3, Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. Most recent season of Power Rangers that came out at the end of last month. And it really does break my heart to put it on this list because I like this cast and I was really looking forward to this 3rd season. Especially since it was taking place during the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers. It was also the first season of Power Rangers to include absolutely no Sentai footage aside from the Zords. But yeah, man, despite all the potential it had, this season was nothing but a disappointment. Clearly all the time, budget, and effort from Netflix went into the Power Rangers Once and Always reunion special. This is definitely the cheapest season of Power Rangers I've ever seen in my life. The Zord configuration made absolutely no sense. Definitely feel like this was a season with loftier storytelling ambitions than the company would allow. There are a lot of genuinely dark and compelling elements of the story that are just completely thrown by the wayside and dismissed. Spoilers, but how is it you could have a Ranger lose an appendage, lose their arm? But the acting performance in that scene is so nonchalant, you'd think he just dropped an ice cream cone. I also love how all of the most interesting plot and story beats happen completely off screen. There's a whole subplot where Lord Zed has literally captured and subjugated all of Earth while the Power Rangers are off-world, including the Legacy Rangers of past seasons. They have to do like this prison break to free all the captives and retake control of the capital. But we never actually get to see any of that. Except like one scene where Heckle suits up as a Dark Ranger. A complete waste of a plot line and this complete waste of a season. Seeing Amelia upgrade to being the Red Ranger of the team was kinda cool, I guess. There wasn't even enough time in the season for us to get used to her in that role. As usual, Ion carried the season on his back, and the whole Zenith Ranger plotline, while extremely predictable, was emotional at times. All in all, I just see this season as a huge missed opportunity. Even Billy's return in this season kinda rubbed me the wrong way. Because for this franchise with 30 years worth of lore and characters to pull from, I find it super lazy and insulting to the legacy of the show that we just keep dipping into this Mighty Morphin well. You have 25 years worth of Rangers, most of which are played by actors who, let's be honest, aren't doing much else. And you're telling me the only ones you could get back were from the very first season? And Dino Charge? That's your 30th anniversary? That's your celebration of the legacy of Power Rangers? It's ridiculous. Number 2, Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, which barely even counts as its own season. This is the season that takes place between Mighty Morphin and Zeo, where as a result of an evil spell, all the Rangers are turned into kids. So to replace them until they can get back to their normal ages, Zordon calls up the Rangers of Equator, a team of Power Rangers that we've conveniently never heard of until literally right now. Not only do the Alien Rangers have absolutely zero personality aside from being just stoic stand-ins for the Mighty Morphin team, the story just meanders from episode to episode with very little development or intrigue from any of the characters involved. It is boring. It is so boring. Which is the exact opposite of what Power Rangers should be. It's one thing to have lazy writing or bad actors, but if there's one thing a Power Ranger season should never be, it's boring. Thankfully, this season only lasted like 10 episodes, but in my opinion, that's 10 episodes too many. And the number 1 worst season of Power Rangers is Mighty Morphin. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Now that honor belongs without a doubt to Power Rangers Megaforce. And why is this the worst season of Power Rangers, you might ask? Well, Jake, there's a simple explanation for that. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, there are so many problems with this season, I can't even fit them all into one video. So if you want to see an in-depth analysis of the absolute farce that was Power Rangers Megaforce and Super Megaforce, give this video a like, and if you fly like me, give me a follow.